going to be two decks we haven't seen for quite some time. It's going to be a new spin on a blue-white control deck using Caretaker's talent and the Izzet Creativity deck, which has kind of been absent from the meta for a little while.
Looks like they have started. Akira was telling me about his deck just this past week, actually. It's similar to what he played in the Standard Showdown on Sunday, utilizing Caretaker's talent, like you were saying, and trying to gain a bit more mid-range advantage in addition to his usual control-style decks he likes to play. It is a Yorion deck, so it is an 80-card main deck, so let's see if we'll see all the cards here.
Yeah, so we are going to wind up seeing, looks like the Iron Crag winds up hitting the battlefield. So Akira going for a little bit more of this mana ramp, mana rock style of gameplay with this deck.
Alright, yeah. End of your turn, I'm just going to take one. For the clue, I'll draw from...
We are going to see just the end of turn here. A Deduce from Taun, going to just wind up slamming that one down as soon as possible. The Izzet Creativity deck, we've seen this one for a little while. It's a little bit of a known quantity we haven't really seen for some time, but Taun kind of oscillates between going from the Torrential Gearhold version, the Atraxa version, the Vaultborn Tyrant version. I'm just kind of interested in which one he's kind of brought to the table this week.
My best guess is he's still on Vaultborn Tyrant. In Taun's own words, he hasn't played Magic in about a month, so I don't think he's done any updating to his deck as well. So it's going to be kind of interesting seeing a brand new control list being updated for Bloomburrow, facing off against something that's, you know, pre-MH3 probably.
That's true, but at least to Taun's credit, his deck list hasn't really had to change all too much since then. We are going to see a Prismari command, though, so that's going to wind up taking out this, taking out the Iron Crag, so there's going to be no more fast mana coming out from Akira, and also just going to be creating a treasure for Taun, so this could be creativity right now.
Yeah, although Taun does need to be careful. Akira is very known for playing control-style decks in our format here. So jamming Creativity right now might just get him counterspelled.
I don't know if Akira actually has any blue mana available. It looks like Demolition Field, Plains, and then the flip side of the bolt land coming down, the one that makes the two angels.
That's true, actually. Yes. I know we put his deck list as Azorius Caretaker, but is he actually Azorius?
I mean, if he is, it's going to be a little painful because there's no blue mana here. But speaking of painful, this mana confluence has been dealing Taun a little bit of damage, and it's just going to be Fable of the Mirror Breaker getting jammed here, so probably no creativity, otherwise we would have fired it off on that blue token.
Yeah, Goblin Shaman token coming out. One of the cards that people thought might be banned this last week, but luckily survived the ban hammer. Still going strong here.
Yeah, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, not necessarily going to be meeting the ban hammer yet, although Wizards did say in their announcement that they've got their eyes on a couple of cards, this one included. Kind of a jack of all trades in the Pioneer format. Makes tokens, can be aggressive for you by getting that 2/2 in, filters away some things, and of course flips over and can start copying some stuff. On Akira's side, though, we're just going to see him pop in this Demolition Field, and all right, I guess
I don't think he is on Azorius today.
It might just be mono white after all. I mean, it's a Yorion Caretaker deck, so this may be a little bit of a different style. We may have to update our titles if we get a chance to look at Akira's sideboard in between games to see if it really is Azorius or if it's mono white after all.
Yeah, because I'm thinking he's probably using the usual token generators like Wandering Emperor and stuff like that to try and get value out of Caretaker's talent. This new card, very powerful in token decks. It's not just a way of getting card advantage, it copies your best token, it also pumps your team if you ever get up to level 3 there.
So I'm just going to update the name just for now, call it Yorion Caretaker, so it could be blue-white, it could just be mono-white, but as you were mentioning, Eric, getting Caretaker's talent up on the screen does a lot of things, draws a lot of cards, and does a lot of good stuff, but on the flip side here for Tom, we are just going to see pitching an Atraxa and a Volcanic Spite from his side to this Fable of the Mirror Breakers Chapter 2, so I guess we found what the target is in Tom's creativity.
Yeah, there is definitely some amount of Atraxa still. Atraxa, as we all know, very, very good multi-format all-star. Played in Gorios, played in Creativity, played in Standard, actually. But let's see here. I'm kind of curious if he has more Atraxas or if he's actually doing a split, because Taun tends to like to do that.
Yeah, looks like Taun is just going to go to combat first, swing at Akira, get a treasure token, go down to 18. Now, we do see that Taun has a copy of Creativity in his hand, but might just be kind of considering, okay, if
sacrifice a
Akira's on
token,
mono
draw a
white,
card,
maybe there's some sort
pay one
of
life.
containment priest or hollowed
Ish.
moonlight shenanigans
And
going on,
treasure, so
because
you have
you got
three
the
and you
room
can
with
pay
80
one life
cards.
to
It is
ish.
entirely possible. And actually, Ton reading
like
a
a
Fountain Port
castle
right now, one of the new
right?
lands to come out of Bloomborough. Very, very powerful effect, actually. I've seen it kind of doing a super great job in Standard, and I guess Akira's bringing it here into Pioneer as well. It has a multitude of effects, as you can see on screen right now. And it's actually just great in any sort of token deck, because all of a sudden you just sack any token you don't need and you just get card advantage.
Yeah. And the best part is once you start getting enough mana on your side, you can just start creating tokens, and that will trigger your Caretaker's talent too.
Yeah, this is definitely very much of a Akira style deck. He tends to like to play a wait and see and then try and respond kind of decks. As he says, he never gasses out.
All right, and Tom just not going to do anything here, just decides to pass. So we are going to see Akira using one of those multiple abilities on Fountain Port to lose a life and create a 1/1 blue fish creature token.
All right. This could be a blocker, could also just be for card advantage here. Let's see. We haven't really seen what Akira's deck can do yet. Only things in the grave right now are Demolition Field and the Iron Crag. Oh, but Caretaker coming out. Another, I think,
And then sacrifice Caretaker, you gain 3 life.
overlooked card, I would say, from Bloomborough here. Just for 2 mana, you get a food, you get the scry, and then you also get a rabbit on entering and on when you sacrifice it.
Yeah, I think Tom might be reading this one and considering if he wants to start putting that in his deck so that he can like Creativity away the token and stuff. But I guess downside is it is an artifact. You'd wind up hitting that one, so you don't really want that to happen.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate downside. It is also in white, so he does have to sidestep a little bit.
He's got mana compliments, will be fine. But Akira just going to throw that one down, deciding going to pass the turn. But like you said, if this Carrot Cake does wind up going to the graveyard, you are just going to wind up getting an additional token. I do believe we saw a copy of Wedding Announcement in Akira's hand as well. So this may just be literally go wide token strategy with a couple of prison effects in it.
It's kind of funny because I would have expected Akira to be running stuff like Temporary Lockdown in this deck, but it kind of actively goes against the plan here.
We are going to see Talon just end of turn. Volcanic Spites away the 1/1 blue fish. This is going to, of course, let him put a card from his hand onto the bottom of his library, replace that card in hand with a quick little draw, and then we'll see if that's something that Talon just wants to untap and go to his turn here. Looks like
Your actions here from Tom, taking a life from... What is that card?
that is a great question, which I'm trying to figure out.
He made a clue.
And I say it makes a clue.
For 1 mana.
Oh, it's. I'm gonna have to look this one up really quickly, but it's basically just 1 mana make a clue,
Yeah.
which is perfect for the Creativity deck.
I mean, basically. It is among the best things you can have in Pioneer Creativity, because I've seen some lists in Modern Creativity run stuff like Hard Evidence, which is a similar thing, make a crab, make a clue, also for 1 mana. But let's see here. CMC 1, I believe, Tom.
Yeah. Let's see what we got going on here from Ton's side.
I mean, I'd be interested to see. I guess he's just going in for it.
2, and then you'll be at 15.
Just like another quick little swing, goes down to 15, and we'll see if Tom wants to pull the trigger on this Indomitable Creativity that he winds up having in his hand.
Have it.
All right, there it is. Creativity winds up coming through. And, oh, is that Warping Whale?
Warping Whale in Pioneer.
All right, I mean, this
Oh.
is cast off the Fountain Port too, but we are just going to wind up having a counterspell back, it looks like, from Ton's side. So, Warping Whale, we thought it was like a good go-to here. Complete surprise to us, but Tom was prepared, had the mana ready for a counterspell, and it looks like
Maybe a little joker.
we are going to wind up getting a Creativity popping off here.
Mana Confluence, I'll be down to 15. I don't know.
This is quite interactive. I did not expect that last turn at all.
Not at all.
But let's...
Treasure Trigger. Did I Treasure Trigger? I'll decline it if I forgot.
Did Ton's Creativity actually
then
resolve there?
Yep.
I think he's
Okay.
resolving it now, because he cast one of the many weird counters he likes to run. I don't even know what that is.
Well, whatever it is going to let the creativity resolve, and that is going to wind up having Ton flipping through his deck until he finds most likely the Atraxa that we saw before. Oh, there's
no.
the Vaultborn Tyrant. All right, so he's got a
It
package
is
of
a
bullets.
split here. Vaultborn Tyrant, very good card coming out of OTJ Big Score. Very good in this format right now, actually. Whenever ATVs or something else ATVs, you gain life, you draw a card. Also, it makes a copy of itself if it dies. So at 7, it's expensive, but when you can cheat it out, the value can't be beat here, I think.
Yeah, so Vaultborn Tyrant coming in just as a big old 6/6 with Trample, which from Akira's side, if you're packing a board full of 1/1 tokens, it's going to start adding up with extra damage. And if Tom's going to be backing it up with just any sort of removal or any of these counter spells that he's been able to play already, very big thing to note is with that flipped Fable of the Mirror Breaker, this Vaultborn Tyrant is a non-legendary target, so we just have 2 of them crashing in soon.
Yeah, and actually when it dies too, it'll make a copy of itself, I
You don't draw a
believe.
card from it. But you do get the 4.
Oh, no, but if it's not a token,
yeah,
so I
you
won't
get-
actually get another one.
they
But being able to
are
just make another
XX.
Vaultborn Tyrant every turn, I think is just
2/1/1s,
pretty
2/1/1s.
lethal here.
Fish.
Oh, Akira casting Beza out right now.
Beza's a really big kind of catch-up card, and I know something that Akira had been talking about in the Card Art Discord for a while. Beza the Bounding Spring is basically timely reinforcements on crack. It's the best way to really put it. You wind up gaining 4 life if your opponent has more life than you. You get 2 blue fish if they have more creatures than you. You get to draw a card if they have more cards in hand than you. And it looks like Akira is able to get basically basically able to get not the treasure token because the lands look like they're about even, but was able to actually go for the 2 fish and gaining 4 life while putting a 4/5 on the battlefield.
Yeah, hopefully this will let Akira stabilize here, because unfortunately, the double Vaultborn Tyrant here is still very, very
Use
lethal.
this as temporary copy.
If he
So
lets it
the way this
resolve.
works is they see each other. And so I'll gain 3 life and draw a card, and then this one sees the other one. I'll gain anything.
This game might be over.
Yeah, and the Satan explaining the interaction between the Vaultborn Tyrants. They will see each other, so we wind up getting a trigger
And
from
this one
each
has
of them.
haste, and
So
this one
one
has
will
blue
see
summon
one
sickness.
entering, and then one will trigger on itself entering. Now we're just going to wind up having a big old crash in here for potentially 12. There's also the Fable the Mirror Breaker
4/5,
token
nothing
up top, so it could be 14.
Yeah.
Most importantly, the Vaultborn Tyrant does have a stipulation on it that if it's not a token,
Swing all out,
a
trigger,
token
trigger,
copy
on
of
the
it
treasure.
when it
Yeah,
dies.
luckily, so Tauntaun won't just go out of control here, although Akira does still need to find a way to kill the original copy and try and get ahead a little bit here. His life is still pretty high, so he doesn't have to feel that
take
pressured yet, but
six
I mean,
to
12 every turn is still 12 every turn.
Yeah, so going all the way down to 7 now is Akira. So that's going to be just a chump block on the Goblin Shaman token. So that is going to wind up being a little bit of the board kind of cleaned up, but I'm really interested to see. I mean, this is a Yorion deck. We haven't really seen any flickering type stuff, but Beza and any sort of blink effect seems like a pretty solid engine to build around.
Yeah, it definitely is. Oh my god.
Hold on a second.
I almost want to be like deck check because that was not what I was expecting.
That's not the draw.
Rurik Thar, R-U-R, yep.
Yeah, I can't
Zero
spell,
is
unfortunately.
like
Rurik is just
playing it on
going to
March
create a
forever.
concession here. As this is just a 6/6 that attacks every combat, and whenever a player casts a
Where's the
non-creature
March?
spell, it's going to deal 6 damage to that player. And when Akira's deck
So
is
much
full of
countermeasures
things that
from
create
March.
tokens, you're probably just going to wind up dying to that.
Yeah, unfortunately. Going to sideboard here. I do kind of wonder what Akira has at the sideboard for this plan.
Well, luckily for us, as we were trying to figure out what Akira was doing, I did notice that he had
CMC on
given
the
us his entire
elemental is
deck.
fine.
And so we do wind up having his main deck and sideboard that we can take a look at while we're going through things. He
Okay.
did warn us that since it is a Yorion deck, there's a lot of cards, so the lands and everything might not entirely fit on the screen, so we might have to do a little bit of scrolly stuff here to wind up getting the whole list in here. But from Akira's side, this is his mono white, after all, Yorion tokens style deck. He has 4 copies of Bez of the Bounding Spring, 4 copies of March of Otherworldly Light, a whole bunch of different things, including Finale of Glory. He does have main deck Hollowed Moonlights and Wandering Emperors to kind of punish sort of any flash shenanigans. And then despite being like a full token style deck, has multiple board wipes in the main deck as well, with more Sunfall.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just trying to get better value, because even if he goes wide, if he can't get through, wipe the board, all of a sudden you have a much bigger token to work with. You'd be able to copy it off of the Caretaker's talent trigger. I don't think he exactly hates having to wipe the board, especially if he's in control of when that happens. But I do think, for how large of a deck this is, it kind of feels like it's a little bit light on card draw or card advantage.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's we do have the Takali's Welcome, the enchantment that you're able to just draw a card as when I think it's a creature or mana cost 3 or less or 2 or less enters the battlefield at least one, and that triggers once per turn. The Caretaker's Talent is like the main engine of this deck that's gonna wind up drawing you some cards as well, but. There's actually a copy of Elspeth's Sun Champion in here as well, which is actually, we saw Duncan with his Naya tokens deck completely blow somebody out with that because all of his tokens are really small, and Elspeth's Sun Champion kills everything that's big.
So another one-sided board wipe kind of thing in Akira's deck here. I guess, what do you think Akira can bring in here against this Ton matchup? I see Lorans, I see Subtle Wreckage, which is probably very good here. Knockout Blow maybe for the Goblin Shamans.
Yeah, I'm really just kind of thinking that with Akira's style of deck, you really just want to bring in the Settle the Wreckages to deal with Vaultborn Tyrant and maybe catch like the Atraxa off guard or something like that. You could maybe bring in some of these targeted removal spells or these finales that you might not actually get to. March of Otherworldly Light seems a little weak unless you're really just kind of focusing on the token game plan from Ton's side, but the Creativity deck just has so many ways that it can create non-creature tokens that I'm not entirely sure that's like the best game plan to go for.
Yeah, it's definitely a little rough. I guess like cheeky play would be to bring in the Lorans to try and start blowing up some of his artifact tokens here.
You could, if you feel like the Hollowed Moonlights and those kinds of effects are good enough, you could bring in the Lorans and you could just wind up going after the Fable, the Mirror Breakers, and things like that. Ton's side, we're probably going to see some board wipes. If he knows Akira's playing basically nothing but tokens, we're probably going to wind up seeing like Brotherhood's End or something along those lines. I know Ton also likes to kind of put some spicy sideboard cards in his deck, so we'll see if there's any sort of shenanigans that might try to turn off some of the ETB effects that Akira has.
Yeah, I also do wonder if his month-long sabbatical from Magic will kind of hurt him or help him here. Not knowing what the current meta looks like. Ton sometimes likes to make interesting sideboard decisions that either pays off or really doesn't. So I guess we will see what he did as far as his sideboard plan here.
Well, the plus side for Ton is that nobody really knows what the meta could look like right now because we just have a BNR announcement, so we could assume there's some amount of Rakdos, some amount of Phoenix, some amount of Mono Green, and you're playing against Akira, you're normally expecting some kind of control deck, so I guess this is shaking it up a little bit from his normal style, as we do see both decks kind of playing their main 3-cost enchantments here. Caretaker's Talent from Akira's side, and then Fable the Mirror Breaker winds up being slammed down by Ton.
Yeah. Oh, Ironcrag coming in here. I do like the fact that Akira managed to get Caretaker's Talent here earlier, because last game I think he kind of really struggled on getting the correct cards in the matchup, but being able to, do some card selection, get some card advantage here, is really where Akira wants to be at.
And we see with the Caretaker's Talent as well, this is whenever one or more tokens you control enter, you get to draw a card. It triggers only once each turn. That's going to trigger off of the Carrot Cake, creating a token. So now all of a sudden, Akira has a lot of cardboard on his side of the board.
Yeah, although he does have to be careful. He doesn't have open mana for Hall of Moonlight or anything like that, so if Ton's able to slam Creativity this turn, that might be his go-off turn.
Yeah, and he does have the ability to attack with this Goblin Shaman, which will give him that 1 extra mana, and then Creativity, that token, Creativity the Goblin Shaman into Atraxa or Vaultborn Tyrant. But it does look like off of this Fable the Mirror Breaker, we're going to see it looks like a Deduce and a Spire Bluff Canal being pitched. We have land number 4 in hand for Ton, in both that Tokens On and the Mountain. But I am not actually seeing the payoff card here of Creativity. I see Torch the Tower, I see Prismari Command. So there's a lot of ways to deal with Akira's board, but not the win condition right now.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ton here, I think he just has to play the patient game, maybe get in some hits with the Goblin Shaman, see if he can force Akira into playing anything.
Team with
Because
combat also
ultimately,
really good for
Akira's deck is kind of an enigma to everybody involved right now.
I mean, we took a look at it from the sideboard, and we're still not entirely sure like what the main game plan to win is. It does look like that Akira's deck is going to want to play a longer style game, which may wind up working out against Ton, since he wants to try to end the game quickly with a creativity and just kind of bash in a turn or two within the Trox or those Vaultborn Tyrants. But with that Fable the Mirror Breaker about to flip as well, Akira's going to have to start worrying about the fact that Ton could just kind of get value out of these Goblin Shamans, and it looks like that we are just going to wind up seeing the same kind of play that was in game number 1. We're going to see Prismari Command taking away the Ironcrag to get rid of the mana and creating a treasure token for Ton.
For sure. Prismari Command, a very flexible card here in Ton's deck. I really like it because it does basically everything he ever wants in the deck. It's removal if he needs it, it's card draw, or card filtering technically if he needs it. You may make a token for creativity later on. You can destroy artifacts for some reason.
We are going to see Akira, though, on the flip side, end of turn, going to be using that March of Otherworldly Light. That is going to be taking away the Goblin Shaman token, so maybe is bringing using these cards to kind of go after the creativity targets from Ton's side, but Ton does, in response, create a clue token from this Deduce, draws an extra card, and does still have a treasure token at his disposal, just in case he feels that creativity.
Yeah, Akira actually leveling up the Caretaker's talent here, letting him copy his Rabbit, and triggering the Caretaker's talent itself is kind of a sweet play because he has mana up for anything else he wants to do, but he can also sack the Caretaker at instant speed and draw another card on Ton's turn as well.
And we are just kind of one step away then from this Caretaker's talent becoming a giant Anthem effect for all these tokens. So all of a sudden these rabbits are going to be 3/3s. They'll start tussling in bigger than anything that Ton's deck can put up that isn't his creativity targets.
Yeah, Caretaker's talent, I think, very aptly named. Otherwise, maybe just talent of the gym, bro. These rabbits are working out a little bit.
Because it's caretaking or taking care of business on your own deck side. Oh, you see Ton just popping another Deduce, winds up, popping the Clue off of the Deduce, so potentially really looking for that Indomitable creativity. Akira does have 4 mana available and just a grip full of cards. We have a Fountain Port on Akira's side, we have a Field of Ruin over there, so there's a lot of things we can do with our mana at end of turn if we really want to, so Ton gonna have to kind of make some decisions here. There's no other creatures on his side. He does have the Indomitable creativity, but right now it looks like in order to cast this, he's going to have to get rid of his Reflection of Kiki.
Yeah. Oh, Emperor coming down. One of Akira's favorite cards, I think.
This is 100% like Akira's jam here. The Wandering Emperor comes down. Probably going to wind up seeing it just create a token here, which then if you pump that up next turn, we're going to wind up having, 10 damage all of a sudden coming across at Ton?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot because it also... Oh, Torch the Tower coming.
Kill the Wanderer.
Okay.
Killing the Wandering Emperor, but Caretaker's talent still triggering here. Akira drawing a card. He's getting the value off of it.
All right, I could see how this engine kind of works out now. This is pretty sweet. You're going to be able to trigger on both players' turns. So these Fountain Ports, these Wandering Emperors creating instant speed tokens are pretty sick. And like we said, Akira could just rumble in for 10 damage this turn if he levels up this Caretaker's talent.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's where he wants to be. I think if he's able to get another Caretaker's talent, he's really able to kind of pressure the board a little bit more. Also getting double the card advantage out of what he normally would be. Oh, not playing anything main phase here.
No, just swinging him with the Vigilant Samurai tokens. That's just going to be 2 damage coming across to Ton's face. Ton does have a creativity in hand, now has a lot of extra mana available. Akira, we've seen Hallowed Moonlight in the main deck. Don't know if there was a Containment Priest in the deck either. I just saw the Hallowed Moonlights when we took a look at his deck list, but we'll have to see if that's what he's bluffing, if there's some other sort of thing that Ton is really afraid of here. We did see Ton waiting to pull the trigger on creativity until there was a counterspell available, so might just be doing that now that his life total isn't under siege from 3/3 tokens and just 1/1s and 2/2s.
Yeah, I do think Ton playing the patient game here is probably good because Akira being on mono white, definitely one of his best outs is miscast.
Yeah, so I see a miscast in Tawn's head. So, like, I think he has the mana available to kind of deal with most things Akira can do, except for exactly Hollowed Moonlight, because Akira will be able to pay the 3.
That one.
Really in the tank here. Because right now, if you do Indomitable Creativity for 1, you can get rid of this treasure token, you have the miscast mana available, and then Akira can still pay for that. If you don't put Akira on something like Hollowed Moonlight, then what is Tawn really considering here is the big question. I mean, from his point of view, he's never seen this deck before, so he could be considering like every single white card that is legal in Pioneer.
Yeah.
Warping Whale again.
Either Warping Whale, or at the same time, I think Ton might be a little bit overthinking it a little bit. Might be thinking that, oh, maybe there's Reprieve coming out like in Modern.
Oh, if only. I know so many people that would love that card to be legal in this format.
Wouldn't it be amazing? But yeah, I think Ton is kind of on the back foot here. He really just needs to jam Creativity and try and go for it. Oh, Akira sacrificing Carrot Cake in response.
So
this is going to get Akira token because of the Caretaker's talent. That will then, because of the sacrifice effect, that will then draw him a card. So maybe Akira just looking at all the options available. Now the downside to this is, if there is a Hollowed Moonlight or something, that's going to tap him out into miscast range. Nope, just going to let that one resolve. So that's going to be flipping over for this Indomitable Creativity.
Rurik Thar coming out once again. Control players hate to see it. This is a big bag boogeyman for them.
I mean, this one prompted a concession when Akira was at 7. However, now that Akira is at 21, we have some life total to kind of deal with this Rurik Thar. I mean, if you are going to wind up casting like Wandering Emperor, one of your board wipes, a big old March of Otherworldly Light, you are going to wind up taking 6 damage for it. But we'll have to see if we know Ton has a miscast in hand, so we'll have to see if Akira can try to play around a counter spell to follow up. But I mean, this Rurik Thar is also going to be double-edged sword because it says whenever a player. So any sort of counter magic is also going to dome Ton for 6.
Oh, Akira playing directly into the Rurik Thar here. Yes, the Carrot Cake will kind of pad his life total a little bit, but I mean, that's still really risky. Although he does have 4 mana still open, he could just kind of pump up the team and kind of start swinging in next turn, I think.
Yeah, we could see just a big ol' attack here. I mean, Rurik Thar is a 6/6, but we could just wind up not attacking with one of our tokens, just having a blocker for this. Rurik Thar, most importantly, doesn't have Trample like the Vaultborn Tyrant does. But we do have Fountain Port on our side as well, so we do have this food token that we can sacrifice if we absolutely need it. So it looks like Akira just passing the turn back over to Ton, who has a grip full of lands and a miscast, it looks like, on his side.
Yeah, and unfortunately that miscast looking really bad for him now that Rurik Thar is here.
Yeah, it does look like there's one additional blue card in Ton's hand that I can't quite make out, but it is hidden behind that mountain, so if it is something that is worth casting and taking 6 damage for, we'll have to see.
Oh, you keep moving too much, Tom.
I'm just really excited about all these decks coming out post-ban, so you know, I'm very animated and moving around the microphone. But it looks like we are just going to see an attack for 6 here because Rurik Thar has to attack each turn. And so Akira instead is just going to be blocking with the team here.
Oh, he's blocking with everything to kill the Rurik Thar.
4, 5, 6, 7. I'm blocking with everything.
Wait, this is 3 tokens.
That's
This,
6, Akira.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Akira looking at some math, but is just going to be blocking with absolutely everything. And it looks like that's going to do it. That's just going to trade off for the Rurik Thar. So Akira wiping his own board to basically wrath everything except for this flipped reflection of Kiki Jiki from Ton's side. And Ton, without anything really to do, that might just be good enough from Akira's side. He got over the Rurik Thar hump.
Yeah, because Carrot Cake's still on the field. He's going to make rabbits and just keep going off again, I think. I do kind of think Akira has kind of stabilized. You're sacrificing the Carrot Cake to gain 3 life, upping his life total again. But let's see what he's got. Akira kind of has a habit of flooding out, unfortunately, despite the 80 card deck.
I mean, the fact of the matter is you have a fountain port on Akira's side, too, so flooding out isn't the worst thing in the world. You can start cashing in these tokens, you can start creating fish, you can do a whole bunch of things from Akira's side. One thing he hasn't chosen to do quite yet has been level up this Caretaker's talent to start beating in with 3/3 tokens. But, I mean, Akira has a grip full of cards and is just going to... Is this a discard to hand size from Akira?
Okay.
He's playing this like a control deck.
Hollow Moonlight.
Oh?
Oh, looks like the Sokenzon is getting channeled end of turn, and the Hollowed Moonlight is going to be coming out to prevent the tokens from being
You're
created.
fighting over this.
That's really funny, actually. He didn't play the Hall of Moonlight for the creativity. Instead, he's fighting over two
I think it'd be funny.
1/1 spirit tokens.
All right, Ton is considering, am I fighting over this? Looks like Negate was the last card that was in Ton's hand besides that miscast, so Negate will go through.
and then we get
Hollowed
some
Moonlight
actual,
will not resolve.
spirits.
We are going to get 2 1/1 spirits with haste, which
We'll actually have a
won't matter
spirit.
since this is end of turn from Ton's side. And that most importantly means Akira won't have to discard down to hand size.
Our players fighting over literal trash here.
Listen, I don't know how many times I've won games because I've channeled the Sokenzon for 2 1/1s. Now, of course, it was alongside Mayhem Devil and Blood Tide Harvester and those kinds of cards, but 1/1s do work, and if there is a creativity in Ton's hand, this could be very deadly from his side, but it looks like just still a couple of lands. Gonna wind up playing the card to make a clue once again. Tap the red mana for a blue spell.
Wait a second.
But gonna just sacrifice the clue.
Hopefully one of our,
Players just getting a little lost in the sauce there.
I mean, we will intervene if it ends up mattering, but hopefully not.
Take one.
Okay, so spirit trading with Rabbit, taking 1, 17 even now. The hard part is I think we're getting close to time in the round, so if Akira does win here, there's a chance we go to a tie here.
Yeah, Emperor results.
Yeah, this is going to be a little difficult for Akira to kind of close things out, but with the Wandering Emperor from Akira's side, never mind. This could wind up going pretty quickly now because Wandering Emperor, uninhibited here, can, with this Caretaker's talent, just put 3 power onto this Samurai all of a sudden, and now you're attacking for 5, but it looks like, nope. Akira can tend to play this one out a little bit slower here. I mean, Taunt does also have this reflection of Kikijiki that is on his side that I'm not entirely sure if he remembers he has. Because you could have just attacked with an extra token if you really wanted to. Unless there's some sort of flash spell or something that Tom's going to try to do end of turn to kind of copy stuff. But nope, looks like we're just going to have a bunch of Samurai tokens potentially coming out here from Akira's side. Drawing a bunch of cards. We do see Warping Whale and a couple of other things on the side of Akira's hand. And over here... Okay, so we do end up having the reflection of Kikijiki, I guess, is going to be copying this spirit token.
No, copying a Mutavault. He activated Mutavault and he's copying it now.
Doesn't the Mutavault just die?
I don't think it dies, but I think it copies, but it becomes a non-creature because you just get a well, because this is during combat,
Fight over this.
I believe.
Below up the Mutavault, give me 2 maps.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, get lost in the Mutavault.
All right, so it looks like this is just going to be in response to it being targeted. So yeah, this reflection of Kikijiki, sorry, I should put this over Ton's side.
Oh, Miscast finally coming out.
All right, the miscast winds up coming through after all, and just the get lost not going to be paid for, so... All right, I guess we just have a copy of the land.
Oh no, this was on end step.
Yeah.
Yep. So now he has 1 more mana to use here. I wonder what the play is, unless he's just gonna clobber in with Mutavaults.
I mean, we'll have to see. We got a 1/1 spirit token. We have a lot of mana. Is this just going to be a hard cast
7, 8?
something? Is this Void Winnower? Hard cast Void
9?
Winnower?
What are we looking at here, Tom?
I think I saw Void Winnower in Ton's hand, and I think that's what we're considering here.
Oh,
There it is.
There it is. Void Winnower Hardcast. You.
Even converted mana. Yep.
Oh my God, I can't even.
All right, so Void Winnower is literally you can't even.
you really can't even.
Your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana costs, and your opponents can't block with creatures with even converted mana costs. So you can only odd.
And then before damage, I'm gonna
So
sacrifice
Akira can't block with these tokens anymore because they are 0.
And then N dies.
Wait.
I'm going to go double check with them very
Yeah,
quickly.
wait. But he just blocked with it. So Tom's gonna go fix his board state. Our
did you block with that token?
Yeah.
You cannot.
Oh.
yeah, because
So
tokens
Emperor
are
just
0
dies
mana
then.
cost, as the card says. 0 is
So I guess you
even.
sack it anyway.
So-
so that
Yeah,
the
I'll
game
sack
stays.
it
So-
on the end set the draw.
Suck it. Wandering Emperor
Tokens
does
are even. I
go
forget that.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fix board state here. Akira does still draw, still sacks the token.
That one definitely matters because
Sunfall.
it would have
Sunfall was
saved
good.
the Wandering Emperor that Tom was attacking. But yeah, Sunfall here is that's an odd mana cost, and that is going to not only do that, but that's going to give Akira an incubate token that will eventually flip over into what was that, a 4 cost or something? I don't know, but it's going to be another token that he could potentially end the game with.
Yeah, I think it's a 4.
Okay,
yeah.
4 costs. Yeah, so it was the
two
Void
creatures on each
Winnower,
side.
the token, the reflection, and then the one remaining samurai.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got a potential 4/4 from Akira's side. He could just flip over at end of turn. But now Ton, is Ton in top deck mode?
Yeah, he spent all his resources getting to that Void Winnower, and unfortunately, it's didn't pay off. Akira having Sunfall in hand is kind of the perfect answer here, because at that point, Settle the Wreckage wouldn't have even done it. But
We're getting a flashback here. All right, so we get 2 clues.
what is that card?
Crack one blue. Yep.
Has flashback, is blue,
Creates
can make a
clues.
clue.
Unfortunately, our internet is lagging a little bit.
Ton trying to draw for an out here, but I'm kind of thinking Akira is in the corner right now.
I mean, Akira does potentially have a 5/5. So this is Secrets of the Key. That is what has been eluding us for so long. I'm so
There
sorry,
we go,
everybody
there
who's
we go.
watching this, but it is investigate. So, and then if you flashback it, you investigate twice. So the reason why we couldn't find it when we were looking up clues because it uses investigate instead. So just clue creator. This is basically what is it? The one that makes a 0/3 crab in modern.
hard evidence.
Hard evidence, but pioneer legal. But we did wind up having just the flip over here, and Akira's still not opting to level up this Caretaker's talent into Anthem territory. So just cracking in for 4. Ton does wind up having 1 card still in hand. There's a Mirex on Ton's side as well now, too, so we do have at least a couple of ways to pressure Akira's life total if he chooses to fire those up. But, I mean, Akira's still the one with a full grip of cards here.
Yeah. Oh, tapping out for 6.
Oh, the Elspeth Suns
Elspeth
champion.
Suns champion that we were talking about earlier.
Creatures.
Pulling it up
tokens.
on, it makes a
This one
bunch
makes you
more trash.
So I'm gonna
It definitely does. So
Okay.
we got 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that can come into play. We can blow everything up that is large. And then if we get far enough into this game, we are going to have yet another emblem effect from Akira's side.
Yeah, so Ton trying to draw for a counterspell here. Unfortunately, he hit another land, I think. So Elspeth making 3 1/1 soldiers, triggering Caretaker's talent. I think with this next turn, leveling up Caretaker's talent might actually be lethal here.
I sure hope so, because we are getting pretty far into the round here. So Akira is going to have to try to end the game sometime soon. So 3 1/1 tokens, and this 4/4 represents 9/7 damage. So that's more than enough here from Akira's side.
Yeah, if Tom doesn't get a blocker out, that is going to be lethal next turn.
So you just have Thundering Falls, quick surveil here. Looks like Odawara and just another land in Ton's hand. So Odawara means that the attack isn't lethal, but it's also
I'll make it
not
easy, I'll just give it
good.
to you.
Okay, so it looks like
Okay.
instead Ton's going to pack it up and decides, okay, well, we're running out of time. We're going to wind up going to game number 3 here.
That is insane, though. The man hard casts a Void Winnower. You see it all here, folks. And still ends up losing that game, unfortunately.
You know, I don't know if I'm
really
more
slow.
impressed
I
that I
couldn't find
remember
anything
Void
there.
Winner's name or the
like-
fact that we
but once I
both
land the
could not
Caretaker
figure
talent-
out secrets of the key for
No, no,
a game and a
You
half.
have to be eliminated by
My excuse, I don't
necklace
play cards like that. I was going to say I'm not a blue player, but I technically play Izzet.
That's
so.
a lie. I was gonna say, you play basically all the cards that could potentially be in Tom's deck. I
We play
mean,
very different Izzet style decks. I play Izzet aggro.
I'm gonna say you're playing in Soul Artifact. He's playing Sacrifice My Artifacts to creativity into larger things. But so from Akira's
That's why I
side,
said, like,
we do have Akira's deck.
Game
We'll
one
kind
and
of
two
pull that
wasn't
up
have, like,
again
a
and kind of
fire
talk about this a
battle
little bit
line.
more. So from his side, we didn't
couldn't
see
go on.
any sort of sideboard tech. We also, most importantly, didn't see any of those turns him buying Yorion, despite having a ton of mana available to do so.
Yeah, and I think that's just Akira's style of playing, and also like we never really did see any targets that were kind of worth flickering. I think because all that really stayed on the field was Caretaker's talent and sometimes the Wandering Emperors, but I think those are also the turns that he wanted to keep mana up for interaction on other things. So it's I think it's really hard to say, but. Takashi's welcome.
Yeah, Takashi's Welcome is a card I'm kind of looking at in Akira's main deck because this is just another way to draw cards and create value from his side. We saw how important Caretaker's talent was in this style of play that Akira was looking to do, which was basically try to play mono white control, right? So
Yeah.
this Welcome is going to be something that from Akira's side could be a very make or break card in this matchup if he winds up keeping a hand that has that or the Caretaker's talent. It does look like Akira's deck really doesn't get online till turn 3 as well.
Definitely. Oh, Ton double shocking here.
Yeah, so we did have Secrets of the Key. Okay, we know that card now. And then Deduce, we have a ton of clue tokens here. Do we have Creativity in hand? Looks like Mana Confluence is the draw as well. So Ton might be doing Akira's job for him this game.
Yeah. Life total kind of getting a little bit low. Okay, Stormcarved Coast.
All right, that'll save us 2 life.
Passing the turn here. Let's see what Ton's got in hand. Oh.
Oh, this Sunken Ruin gets to activate the Field of Ruin here just for 1 mana, very efficiently. So you're going to be floating mana from Ton's side and maybe deciding now if we wind up finding just a basic land. Do we cast another Deduce? Do we crack one of these clues? There's stuff that Ton can do.
Yeah, being able to keep up mana for various kinds of interaction or different game actions, I think is one of the strongest parts of Ton's Creativity deck. Kind of having counters, having removal, having card draw, having kind of the options when you need it. I think definitely is what puts Ton's deck on top a little bit.
And just going to get another Deduce. We're going to
Another
get
Deduce
another
coming in.
clue.
3 clues.
Yeah, why not?
Sigo.
All right, Ton, where's your sideboard Shrapnel Blast?
I mean, that's something we could be seeing is like more things that kind of like work with the artifact synergy from Ton's side, but don't think we're gonna see Shrap. That is a little bit more up your alley now, isn't it?
It would be
Shrapnel
very up my
Blast.
alley. Although, like, I don't know, if something like Rise and Shine was legal in this format, overloaded, I think I would love to see that coming out from Ton's side.
Actually, I'll let you discard.
Oh,
If I
Akira
discard, you
doesn't
can't take
have
any action, by the way.
doesn't have a third land, it looks like here. So just going to clean up and having a discard here. You see Tom with
Unless it's a
Spell
trigger
Pierce in
on
hand as well. So any of these
Ooh,
3 mana enchantment-based engines that Akira's deck is trying to put into play, this missing a land drop is going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. Ton seems to have a lot of his pieces. He didn't even crack a clue last turn, so I'm kind of thinking he has everything he wants in hand.
I think I see a second mana confluence in Ton's hand as well. I do think I also heard time in the round
end
was
of your
being
turn.
called, although we did start it a little bit later on stream, so there is a timer that is specifically for the stream game. So we're probably going to see the turn die come out in just a couple of minutes. So that is something we kind of have to consider here now, because Akira's deck did not look like it was very quick at finishing the game. Ton's deck, however, does have the ability to do so.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping
I'll drop
Ton
him
is going to do something, but it does seem like he's still trying to dig for an answer here.
Just
At the
looks
end
like
of your- no,
a 1/1 shark coming out.
Upkeep, draw.
Just at the end of Akira's turn. Did wind up finding his third land this time around, though, so we do have 3 mana available.
Another Stormcast Coast.
All right, so we get a quick little attack in with this 1/1 shark. Are we going to see creativity? It looks like just a bunch of reactive spells coming out from Ton's hand. Volcanic, is that Brotherhood's End?
Brotherhood's End, yeah.
All right, so we did wind up bringing in the board whites we were expecting to see. Just a carrot cake coming out from Akira, but Ton might just wind up fighting over this and not letting Akira get a board at all.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of saw what happened last game, where Carrot Cake is kind of insane for double value on Caretaker's talent. If nothing else, it's just a food with insane upside tacked on.
And so that is going to eat the Spell Pierce that was in Ton's hand. So Spell Pierce getting some value here. We are going to have Shark Token just swinging in for 1 more damage here.
This is definitely not how I expected our game 3 to go.
Not at all. I kind of expected the 1 damage tokens to be on Akira's side. but-
Yes, Wallboard Tyrant.
All right, we can do that with Mana Confluence in our hand.
Wait,
so
hang on. Does Ton have enough mana for that?
yeah, he's got 6.
It's a 7.
It's a 7.
It's a 7.
Wait, how you get 7 mana?
Yeah.
Oh, Akira
Yeah, wait,
double
yes.
checking him there.
Oh, there we go. Akira got it.
Judge!
My bad.
Valborn Tyrant.
Hand order
Is 7
is
mana.
the top one, but I accidentally cast wrong cast.
I accidentally tried to cast my Valborn Tyrant.
He
Says
paid
Todd.
6 mana.
I accidentally paid
I
6,
let him
yeah.
resolve.
It looks like we're just gonna say, okay, we can't
but
do
I
that.
know this-
I don't think there are any other game actions that
I
we're
don't
taking
know what
past
it
that.
is.
We have Frenchie
I
stepping
didn't
on
shuffle
over.
my hand.
Frenchie, I
It's on
believe,
stream,
level
so
0
I know what I
judge,
did.
level 1 judge.
0.5, I think.
0.5. Oh, about to be level 1 judge.
Somewhere in there. But Garrett came by too, so hopefully,
just like put the card back,
hopefully they can
shuffle
figure
the
it
deck,
out
unless you
here.
have anything known information on the bottom, in which case just pull it out and then you get a warning.
So I know it's on stream, so at least I can put it back.
Yeah.
And I'll undo the life gain. So.
All right, so Ton
1, 2,
basically
3.
undoing any of the life
As
gain.
I'm aware, that's the
Should be at 16 because the mana
So I guess I'm gonna be actually able
confluences.
to do it.
And
So you know it's in
looks
my
like
hand,
did
I'll
not
play with
see the card that was drawn off of the Ballborn Tyrant ETB.
I mean, if he doesn't cast it, he doesn't use the mana confluence.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, so just going back up to
Okay,
16
it's just
life.
running it as described. So you're going to put the card that you know is on top.
So it's on top. Do I shuffle?
Shuffle the rest. As long as there's no.
I
Okay, so
shuffle
it does
the
look like
rest,
he
or-
So
did.
you don't shuffle the card that was on top. Or, well, yeah, you just shuffle.
Just shuffle,
Shuffle all of them.
Shuffle all
It's only if you know any cards on the
The tag team with Garrett and Frenchie figuring out that looks like because of the known information from the
I
card
didn't
that he
play
did
any of
draw off
these
a
cards this
Ballborn
turn, so-
Tyrant, we are just going to wind up shuffling that one back.
Um,
So the Ballborn Tyrant is known information from Akira now, but it does
you
look
get
like
more
that
information, that's-
everything else just kind of
Sorry
goes
about that,
back to
it's, like,
normal.
Entirely my fault. I'm rusty at Magic. I'm just gonna pass through.
And Tom's just going to pass.
Yeah, but that Vaultborn Tyrant might end the game
Not
here.
like
One
it
more
changes
land.
anything.
Yeah.
My hand's not really good.
Yeah, so now Akira knows that this threat is looming, but Akira doesn't have any lands available. So it looks like just a bunch of reactive cards. Double Settle the Wreckage, those came in. There's a Wandering Emperor, a Sunfall to get lost.
Another
So
clue.
Ballborn Tyrant, if it does resolve, doesn't look like it's very long for this world.
Yeah.
Top, upkeep, draw.
It's definitely not going to stay, but the problem is Get Lost destroys, not exiles, so
Yeah.
Tyrant's just going to come back again.
Good, thankfully we have a second go to the token.
Now, I will.
Yeah, although Akira does have one. If Ton is going for the hardcast Vaultborn Tyrant plan again, Akira does have one turn to try and draw another land. If he can, the Settle Wreckage would be a much cleaner answer.
I'll just
Alright, looks like Ton did draw creativity for the turn as
creativity.
well, so just
Creativity for
for
two.
two.
2 clues.
March one of the
Which one of the clues? I'll take. Okay, yeah. I
Looks like the players here,
only one.
they are going to be fighting over the Indomitable Creativity target. So Akira can march away one of those tokens because the Indomitable Creativity does not have the sacrifice costs as part of the casting cost. This is Destroy. So that will only wind up flipping for one thing.
Pierce here?
Yeah, I'm going to say the Atraxa coming in, the Get Lost in response to the ETB. We are going to see Spell Pierce then fight away the Get Lost. So we are going to wind up having not only this Atraxa resolving and sticking around, but we are going to wind up having, as time gets called in the round for our feature match here, we're going to have an Atraxa Grand Unifier on the battlefield, but we do know Akira has a second Get Lost. But if you get lost on the Atraxa, there's a Vaultborn Tyrant that's going to follow this up.
Yeah, and also Get Lost gives Ton 2 free map tokens to cast that in creativity he just pulled into hand again.
I'm gonna go to discard.
I'm not actually sure that's where Akira wants to be.
I mean, I kept a 2-lander, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I need this.
Looks like Akira should be at 17 because the Shark token did attack for 1. So that will put him within basically a 3-turn clock still. There's no Mutavault or anything on the side of Ton. He does have one in hand, but it's not on the battlefield yet, so that's actually not going to be able to be added to this clock. And with the timer expiring, this is turn 0. So this is going to wind up being turn 1 for Akira. So Ton does have to end the game in 3 attacks.
You play land.
Yeah, I played land, yeah.
Oh, finally we have land number 4 from Akira.
So this
And
is
there's the
unfortunately.
loss.
turn 1 of turn.
Yeah.
Turn 1 of
Get
turns.
2 map?
Can I get maps?
Yeah. I don't know if they have map. Okay.
Of course we have maps. I am insulted, Akira.
What kind of token setup would we have if we didn't have map tokens? As we pass the turn back over to Ton. This is turn number 2. Now Ton only has 2 attacks to end this game. So we are going to have Mutavault, Vaultborn Tyrant, a 1/1 Shark. If the math is mathing here, that's not 17.
I think Ton is probably kicking himself right now for discarding the creativity during cleanup last turn. Because this would just chain him into another creativity. I mean, Mutavault just came down. The Shark's a 2/2.
What's the card you reveal?
Miscast. I'm gonna bin it.
And I mean, if we do, the other thing we can do is maybe just,
15?
I took 1 last time.
we could maybe just make a big Shark end of turn, but that's still not lethal damage. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'd be like a 6/6?
7. Now.
Yeah, so
Seven,
we're just gonna see the Vaultborn Tyrant instead.
For real, Vaultborn Tyrant this time. So this is turn 2. It's still not enough here because it's only 8 damage next turn. He needs 1 more turn.
Akira's still at 15, so unless we're gonna magically have a bunch of extra map tokens, or if there's like a Bane Fire or something from Ton's side, I don't think this is going to wind up ending the game.
So it'll be 4 and I'll be 5. So.
I was turn two. I just passed.
Ton is 4.
Yeah,
turn
Ton is
4,
turn
right?
4.
Yeah, because I'm
Ton's
He
four,
has
'cause
he
he's
has to end the game this turn.
Yeah. I don't think he can do it here. Mainly because none of the stuff he can do has haste.
Any sort of quasi-duplicate effects in Ton's deck list? I think that's basically what it is. It's like, create a token with haste or bust, right?
Oh no.
This
Oh
might
no,
be it.
says
That's
Ton.
just a tie here.
Doesn't get anything. So
That is all the wreckage too from Akira, so he wasn't even really going to be able to end the game at all, so that's going to be in a tie.
We don't have a tie screen. This
We
doesn't
don't.
happen on stream very often.
We don't normally have ties, so both players is gonna shake hands there. So that's a 1-1-1 ending to the match here, as the start of brand new Pioneer and everything gives us a tie between a deck that we haven't seen for a while and a deck that is utilizing some brand new cards to do something that we haven't seen before.